Morning. I had a nice conversation with a good friend of mine, Suzanne Monk. Some of you might know who Suzanne Monk is. She's a wonderful patriot. She puts God and country first before herself, before anybody else, and she will help anybody at the drop of a dime. Suzanne Monk lives in D.C., and she's got the scoop on what Mayor Bowser and the Capitol Police and the guards are doing to prisoners in DC. So I said the best thing to do was to call her, get her on the phone, and hear what she has to say about what's going on, because she can relay it to me all she wants, but she will not I will not be able to give the information to you better than she can. So I'm going to give her a call right now, put her on speakerphone.
Hello, this is Suzanne.
Hey Suzanne, it's Jeremy. How are you?
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
I am well. You are live from America. So if you'd like to say hello to everybody, we got about 6,000 people watching. It's your time to say hello.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and listening to my friend Jeremy.
So Suzanne, you and I have been friends for quite a while.
Yep.
Geez, must be 2016, somewhere in that area.
Yep.
And every time you and I get together for something, we make a difference. I think so, anyway. And
We try.
we try, exactly. And then when we part ways, we go off and we make a difference the way we know how, and then we come back together and share stories and share strategies. One thing that really one thing that I love about you, Suzanne, and I know I've told you this before, is your dedication to this country, your dedication to God, even if it means sacrificing yourself. You've done it for me, you've done it for others, and now it looks like you're sacrificing your safety and reputation once again, where you live, to expose what's happening in D.C. as it pertains to the prisoners who are not convicts yet, because they're not convicted, but yet they're political prisoners. They're people who broke the law. They're just people who are being held without bail in D.C. And you have the scoop on how they're being treated. And I guess this is my time to just let you basically tell the whole audience that's watching and hearing and listening right now what's going on.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate the lead in. And to be honest, though, I am fortunate enough to wake up today not in a 10 by 10 foot cell where I'm going to be held in solitary confinement for 23 hours today because I'm unwilling to get an experimental vaccination. That's the situation we have in our jails. Starting with the COVID protocols, there are so many layers of this, and I'm going to go through it quickly. Starting with the COVID protocols, from the first day of shutdown, our DC detention center, which is where we hold people awaiting trial, has been in 23-hour-a-day solitary confinement lockdown. These folks were not allowed visitation from their family or their attorneys. They were not allowed to leave their cells. They didn't go outside. They were not allowed barber services. As an inmate, you don't get nail clippers, and you don't get a razor. You have to go to the barber for those services. They shut all those services off, and we're giving inmates basically Nair, chemical hair remover, in replacement of a razor, in replacement of shaving their face. And this is a base condition that these individuals were in throughout 2020 in the shutdown era. Now, once we get to January 6th, we've added dozens, possibly hundreds of patriots into that level of condition. Now, on April 19th, the Washington Post wrote an article about these travesties, these human rights violations going on in the jail, and Muriel Bowser changed her policy, her COVID policy, and the policy now is as such. If you have been vaccinated, you might get some freedoms. You'll get freedoms to go outside. You'll get freedoms to use the barber. But if you are unwilling to be a lab rat, you are still locked into 23 hours a day, solitary confinement, waking you up at 3 a.m. to go take your daily shower. This is the kind of thing. And we add to that now, in that condition, we have political prisoners who are being beaten, who are being violently abused. A gentleman by the name of Ryan, I believe, there on January 6th, he's been held, and they literally took him out of his cell in the middle of the night, tied his hands, and two correctional officers beat him to the point where he has lost the use of his eye. They cracked his skull.
Wow.
So we have not only egregious human rights violations as the standard policy, but then you start peeling back that secrecy, those layers of secrecy, and we have utterly criminal correctional officers that are serving under the guidance and pay of Muriel Bowser that are now torturing political prisoners for their political beliefs.
So hold on, Suzanne. So before we get into the political prisoner part of January 6th, let's just back it up again real quick. So you're telling me that these prisoners are being locked down 23 hours a day as if they're high risk, escape artists, or solitary confined prisoners because of COVID restrictions. That's why they're locked down. And then because of these, quote, COVID restrictions, they are denied having razors. They're denied the exercise they need. They're denied the access to showers the way that they're supposed to be. They're denied all of everything just because of COVID, not because of the way they acted or got in trouble in jail. That's what you're saying?
That is exactly correct, including not getting access to regular medical treatment. Folks are not getting their standard care. And we only had 60 cases of COVID in the jail. So
60 out of 1500, right?
Right. It would have been easy to quarantine those individuals and continue to allow. I mean, Nancy Pelosi can go into a salon and get her hair done. I think we could put a mask on an inmate so he can get his toenails clipped. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The procedures that we've put, just our standard individuals, and I remind you, these are individuals who have not been convicted of their crimes. They are awaiting trial.
So they're innocent till proven guilty, right? I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
That is what America is supposed to be. And, frankly, we don't even treat our terrorists in Guantanamo Bay with this kind of situation. I mean, this is literally the kind of stuff we were screaming so much about over in Iraq when we saw those violations against terrorists. This is the kind of stuff that is going on right now here in America, in the nation's capital, and we're just barely starting to hear about it.
So you said that the people that have direct authority over Mayor Bowser when it comes to the way these prisoners are being treated is Congress, right?
Yes. The Congress is, we as a district, we are not a state. Congress watches over us. And I'm very proud of Congressman James Comer from Kentucky. He is the ranking Republican on the House Oversight Committee. He has written a letter to Muriel Bowser, asked her to answer for her policies. She has ignored him. And so I've been reaching out to Congress people on the right side of the aisle, and frankly, we're going to start reaching out on the other side as well, just to put pressure on these Congress members to do their job. It is their job to watch over the district. Congress, with the swipe of a pen and 5 people in Congress could change this policy here in the district. So we're actually asking people to reach out to their Congress folks and let them know this is going on. A lot of people in Congress are just unaware, like many of us are.
So let's get to the January 6th prisoners now. I have friends who were actually locked up because of this. Okay, yep. Not friends, but associates. Let's say we live in a pretty big echo chamber, right? Everybody knows everybody in this Patriot community. I have friends, associates, people that I know who have been locked up in D.C. and released. Some people have been released. But they're kind of corroborating exactly what you're saying. They're saying the same thing, that the January 6th people who are locked up in there right now are being treated worse than anybody else because of their political affiliation. It literally sounds to me like it's Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea or Iran, where political prisoners are being beaten and being savagely treated because of who they support politically. Is that true?
Yes, that is exactly true. And the way D.C. Detention Center works, part of the correctional officers are hired directly by the city. Part of them are a private contract, like sort of a BlackRock for correctional officers. So there's even less oversight from that sort of group, and I believe, frankly, more involvement with the federal government and their interest in actually pressuring these individuals. All of these folks, weirdly enough, so they've been shut off from visitation. They're not getting letters. They're not being allowed to receive their mail, but they are being given iPads to communicate, text at sort of the whim of the correctional officers with a real suspicion that the reason that is they're trying to further entrap these individuals just by talking to their friends, just by talking to their family members. It's utterly, it is a Banana Republic style socialist, Marxist, Maoist kind of situation we have with our January 6th folks that are over there, because the federal government is certainly using their incarceration in a criminal fashion to further fish for information to charge them with, and they're not getting access to legal help. Many of them are not even being charged; they're being held, but they have not yet been charged. And their public defenders, I've heard in many cases, they're assigning these liberal public defenders here in D.C.
Of course they are.
Who have no interest in helping these people beat these charges in any way. So it's a travesty of justice across the board when it comes to the conditions, but when it comes to the legal process we're putting the January 6th detainees under, it is utterly illegal, that process that they're putting them.
Now, you've talked to Marjorie Taylor Greene about this, correct?
Yes, I have talked with Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've talked with Congressman Kamek. We're reaching out with Congressman Lauren Boebert. We've reached out to Congressman Gosar, I believe. I've been calling Congressman James Comer from Kentucky's office every week for the past month. And starting today, I will be reaching out to every single member of Congress that I can get in touch with. It's gotten a little harder because the email system no longer allows me to email Congress people. You have to have an address from their district to use the email form. So I've been recommending folks look up the fax number to these Congress people, and we can actually fax them. And a lot of your email programs do that for free right now. So we've had to go around their little loopholes. They're making it harder and harder for us citizens.
Well, of course they are, and we're supposed to have access to be able to access them through many different means. You know, they're not supposed to be able to cut us off from that stuff. So would you say that everybody who's listening right now, and we have people who watch from every state, we're pretty all about action here, as you know. The Audience for Live from America really does a lot to change a lot. So would you say getting a hold of their representatives in their states and demanding somebody look into this and fix this situation would be a lot of help to what you're trying to do?
It would be an immense amount of help if you would all call, email, fax, carrier pigeon if you have to, your Congress people, and let them know, please look into the situation in the D.C. jail. The conditions for their inmates and these political prisoners are being abused. And it is Congress's responsibility. It's not like you're asking them to do something that is outside of their legal purveyance. It is their responsibility to oversee the District of Columbia. So they have every authority to change it. They could literally vote to change the policy. They could literally vote to remove my mayor if they wanted to. So all we're asking right now is every congressional eye to take a look here at what's happening in the district. If for no other reason, we need to protect the basic American principle that you are innocent until proven guilty, that we do not violate human rights, that we even once we have convicted someone, we are putting them in humane conditions. We are not Venezuela. We are not Chairman Mao.
Well, that's right.
We've got to stop this behavior right here in America, right now, if for no other reason that our American soul, our American values are
right. Well, and the other thing too is we know that the prison system in this country is all for profit, and we know that these judges over the last few decades have started to put people in prison that shouldn't be in prison just so people can make profits off it. So 9 times out of 10, you can't say, well, they did a crime, they deserve to be in there. Well, maybe so, but maybe not. We don't know until they go to trial. But regardless, you don't treat them like this. You don't beat them. You don't bust their eye sockets so they can't see because of who they voted for. You don't do that kind of stuff. Not in America.
You don't wake people up at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time you're going to let them take a shower. You don't give people chemical remover to take the beard off their face. You don't keep people from out of doors for over a year, 440 days, now going on 450 days, for the over 1,000 people in that detention center that are unwilling to get the vaccine. And I just got to say, that has got to be some amazing strength for those people to resist the vaccine. I mean, it's one thing for us outside, out here in the free world. We don't get a donut. Oh no. We don't get a lottery ticket. Oh no. It's certainly a lot harder to resist this experimental pressure that they're putting on us for this medication when the reward is getting out of your cell.
Well, I mean, and we've already seen Democratic officials and people at the CDC go on liberal news stations and complain that we don't have a carrot to dangle if we start opening up everything. We don't have a carrot to dangle if we start letting people go to places where people shouldn't go if they're not vaccinated. And it sounds like to me that the carrot that Mayor Bowser and the prison officials there are dangling is, hey, you can go to the yard, you can have a shower every day, you can not be locked down every day, but let us jab you with the Fauci experimental drug.
It is a violation of the Nuremberg Code. Muriel Bowser is violating the Constitution when it comes to the way our inmates are being treated and our political prisoners are being treated. She is violating the Nuremberg Code when it comes to performing medical experiments on people who cannot submit freely to that decision because they are not being properly informed, nor do they have freedom to make that decision. And on top of that, I think she's violating the Geneva Convention when it comes to basic human rights, and that is happening literally but a few blocks away from our nation's.
Well, Suzanne, I want to thank you as always for doing what you're doing and keeping up the good fight that you're keeping up. I love you so much, and I can't wait till we get to work together again in person and see each other in person. But you do me a favor, and I know you have been already. You keep me up to speed on what's going on down there. We'll call our congressmen and women, and we'll do what we can do on our end. You do what you can do on your end, and you just keep us informed, okay?
I will, and I love you as well, my patriot brother. We've been fighting the good fight, and that nothing is going to change. This patriotism is now a lifestyle for many of us, and we are getting this country back. But it's going to take folks, being engaged, and I appreciate so much you getting your folks riled up, righteously so, and active on this issue. And I think we can really make a difference for those folks that are sitting in that detention center who do not have a voice themselves and do not have any way to make these changes. So let's help them when they can't help themselves.
Suzanne, how can people follow you? Where do they follow you at?
You can follow me at trumptalk.us. That'll give you my social media. And I am currently putting together my new website, monkdc.com. And that's going to have access to all of the stuff, the videos, my podcast, and the drive-arounds we do here in D.C., just keeping people informed. They'll have all that up, so you'll be able to catch.
Guys, that's Monk. That's going to be monkdc.com. That's monkdc.com when she gets it up, and I'll let you guys all know. Suzanne, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon, hon, okay?
Thank you, Jeremy. Love you, my brother. We'll talk soon.
God bless. See you later, hon. Bye-bye.